Okay. Hello, Mizzou people. Jordan Anderson here. I'm going to interview today two awesome ladies from my district about professional development. I'll let them introduce themselves and their title.
My name is Christy Baumgartner, and I'm the assistant superintendent.
And my name is Cindy Inman, and I'm the curriculum coordinator for the school district.
Awesome. Thank you so much for helping me out on this. I really appreciate it. So we just have 8 questions that we're going to talk about professional development and how it applies to Alton School District and where I teach, Alton High School. So the first one is, what do you have to consider when planning professional development for such a large district like ours?
Well, the first thing is time, money, and resources. And how do we bring all that together? So we also, and then teacher needs. So I have to look at where do we need the professional development? What do teachers look like they need the professional development in? And how do I provide that in the time frames that we have set and established and with the funds that we have?
Yeah, and that's key, Jordan, for our district, because we have a limited amount of professional development funds, and when you're trying to provide training for over 800 staff members in a variety of needs and areas, it gets a little complicated. So Cindy and I have to work together to look at our Title I and our Title II budgets, where we do allocate the majority of our funds for professional development. It becomes a challenge because we want to get our biggest bang for the buck. At the same time, we want to provide teachers with professional development and training that's systemic and that it can become school embedded. So we use the train the trainer option a lot in our schools, so that we have kind of a local expert who can then train other teachers. And I know Cindy's a fan of that method as well, because it allows us to really stretch those professional development dollars.
Yeah, and I can't even imagine having to think about what would help a preschool teacher and then what would help a teacher who teaches like government senior English honors.
Right.
And so,
different.
yeah, that must be so hard. How have you seen professional development change over the last 5 years?
Well, I think it's drastically changed. It used to be that the district gave each teacher a set amount of money for professional development, and then the teacher went to those one-stop shops where they went to one-day professional development on their whatever topic they felt they needed to do, and that was it. We didn't see as much information actually coming back to the school. It was teachers got a little bit of grain of information from it, but not a lot that they were actually implementing in the classroom. We also did a lot of PD where we sent teachers away. Now we're trying to keep them more in-house, like Christy was talking about. We're really trying to develop our in-house experts. We just recently did a professional development for all staff member here at the high school. Like Christy said, 800 plus staff members, and we use 95% were teachers in district providing the professional development, and it had the biggest success rate.
Yeah.
I mean, teachers raved about it.
Yeah, and I think one of the greatest lessons we've learned is professional development is not one size fits all. And the training that Cindy just alluded to, Cindy and her team did an excellent job of creating breakout sessions. So everybody gets what they need, but they're empowered to choose what it is that they need. We've also, over the past 5 years, there's more of a connection to the evaluation process now where professional development is concerned, because we see teachers starting to self-reflect more and determine their own area of need, and in collaboration with their principal, so that they can select professional development. Should they have to go outside of the district, they can select professional development that's more meaningful and will have a greater impact on maybe an area they want to improve upon.
And I like how you said evaluation. An article I read from the New Teacher Project said they had 3 large districts in Texas they were watching, and those districts were spending an average of $20,000 per teacher a year on professional development, and they weren't seeing any change in their evaluation. Teachers who were getting like proficient or needs improvement weren't moving up to that next level, and they were kind of asking the question, why is this? We're sending them to all these things, and once they started really focusing on what the teacher needs and doing those in-house developments, that's when they started seeing a move in evaluation. And so I really like how you said that, because that was one of the most interesting articles to me, how they were going to so many things, and they were out an average of 18 school days a year during this 3-year time period, and no change in their teaching style.
Right. I think one of the things that we've really seen success with has been the Inno Lab that Jeff Hudson does here, because just like Christy was saying, the ability to help teachers reflect on their own teaching and become better at their craft has been so wonderful for our district. And it's really making teachers say, okay, I want to go, here's where I am, and here's where I want to go, and this is what I need to get there.
Yeah,
So-
I've referenced InnoLab so many times throughout my year with Mizzou, and they all love the idea and think it's such a cool practice. And every time I present at InnoLab, it's been a huge learning experience for me because people in the room see things that I would never see myself. And so I love that.
And the cost is virtually zero.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what's amazing. So the sustainability factor and the ability to sustain that even in the absence of professional development funds is significant.
Yeah, yeah.
Just recently, we did InnoLab, not to just keep talking about it, InnoLab with teacher assistants during
cool.
our early release day, and they absolutely loved it.
Cool.
They said it was one of the best professional developments that they've ever had, where they were reflecting on what they did as a teacher's assistant and how to get better with the students that they work with.
Yeah.
So that's
awesome.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's really exciting.
I
to
didn't
see
know that.
broaden
That's
out.
awesome.
Mhm.
What topic has been the recent focus of professional development for our school district?
I think the switch to Common Core. Wouldn't you
Absolutely,
say that?
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
the standards are changing, not just for ELA and math, but we've got science, social studies is right around the corner. I think it's going to be adopted this spring, is what they were saying by ISBE. So I think the shift to Common Core has really been the big focus in the district over the last few years.
Absolutely. If you look at in-building professional development that principals might provide to just their school staff, such as like a faculty meeting, in addition to Common Core, the past couple of years has definitely been around evaluation. And not just the evaluation, the mechanics of how the evaluation process works, but I really like how our principals have been selecting particular domains and components from the Danielson framework and really talking with teachers about how that impacts instruction or how that impacts their assessment of their own instruction. And so I think that's been a key piece too from an in-building perspective.
Yeah. I've only known Common Core because when I started my teaching program, that's the first year I think it was kind of being pushed in teacher preparation programs. And so I remember when I did my student teaching at another school district, there were many people who were upset and confused and didn't know. And I'm like, well, this is all I've ever known. But looking back at like the Illinois state standards and Missouri state standards, I can see how there's a big learning gap there that I'm
Absolutely.
very blessed I never had to be a part of.
Absolutely.
But yes, I can
Absolutely.
see that. I remember setting through, every time I would do like a student teaching, setting through professional development about Common Core. I'm like, why are we doing this? I know it already. But now I've learned. Do you see the benefits of any online professional developments through either websites or there's things like on Twitter, it's called Mo Ed Chat, and there's an Illinois Ed Chat too. I've participated in those a lot when I went to the Missouri Technology Conference a few years, and that's where I got hooked up with that. And it's very crazy and very fast, and you have to really like be in the computer to know what's happening. But do you see the benefits of any professional development like that?
Absolutely. I think Twitter Ed Chats are an excellent example of pedagogy, and I think pedagogy is an extremely important part of professional development to have that interaction time with colleagues and to share best practices and to share frustrations or strategies and opportunities. So I think those are, pedagogy is an extremely important piece, and opportunities such as, Ed Chats through Twitter are a fine example of that. Online training, absolutely. I mean, it's certainly more affordable because we're not sending staff out of district; they can seek it online. However, we like that, and Cindy may differ from me on this, but we like to limit that a little bit because you don't have the opportunity to interact with other colleagues or with the presenter as much online, and it's a lot easier to be distracted when it's just you and the computer and other things going on. So it's a little harder to be focused. And I speak from my own personal experience on that. It's easy to get distracted during online. So if that's the only way to get it or that's the most affordable way to get it, then we are always supportive. But again, I'm a huge fan of being able to sit among a group of colleagues and a presenter so that open dialogue can continue as a part of that process.
How important do you think professional development is to today's teachers, both young and old?
Extremely important. Everything continuously changes. There's new teaching interventions, instructions, and strategies with the new standards changing. I think professional development is hugely important for teachers and staff of all kinds, even for myself. If I'm not learning teachers aren't learning. So we have to be up on the latest and greatest initiatives.
And whether you're a new or a veteran teacher, the need for professional development doesn't change. I mean, we want all of our teachers and staff to be growth-minded. So in order to be growth-minded, we need to continually improve upon our practice. And we're fortunate in that a lot of our veteran teachers always feel like they can always do better.
Yeah.
And so that's so rewarding to see, because they're constantly seeking a better way to reach students, a better way to reach more students, and to customize their instruction so that they are meeting the needs of individual students. And when you put those things into play, whether you're a new educator or a veteran educator, professional development is equally important.
And I've never even thought about like the professional development you guys have to go through. You guys probably do more PD than anyone else because you're trying to find the PD for us as teachers. And I've never even thought about that until right now when you said that. But yeah, because you guys have to be like kind of professionals on every topic out there. Because if someone comes to you, you have to know what to say and
Yeah, and Cindy, for example, she participates in the Madison County Curriculum Council, which is a lot of area curriculum coordinators and specialists from Madison County districts coming together to kind of strategize, because why duplicate the process if you need the same type of professional development we need, and that's something that the Regional Office of Education can provide. How can we pool our resources? And she comes back with a lot of great information from that meeting, because that's where a lot of ideas are shared, a lot of resources are shared, and we're able to tap into some of that, and likewise other districts are able to tap into some of our potential resources.
Awesome.
It's been extremely beneficial, because every time you could ask Christy, I come back and I'm like, okay, here's what we got. Here's where I'm thinking we need to go, and we sit down and we go over everything together. Here's where the district or the county is going. Do we want to go this way? What part do we want to look at? There's multitudes, and then sending teachers to different districts. Like next week, we're going to be sending some middle teachers to Triad Middle School to look at coding programs.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, there's different things like that that we then have that ability and knowledge to see where we wouldn't if we were part of that group.
Every time I would go to like the METC conference, the next day I would be at Kathy's door, which we're like buzzing, like, I have to tell you what I have to tell you. Write it down. I can't write down mentally. Go do whatever you want. And so I know that feeling of just having 1,000 things run through your mind at once.
That's exactly.
Do you feel as if teachers should seek out their own development or wait for the district to offer it?
Both. I think it is important for teachers to know, like Christy was talking about, being able to reflect on their teaching needs and being able to pick out what they want, where they need to grow professionally. But as a district, I think it's just as important for us to be able to give that information to them, because you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know that there's this type of professional development or instruction is moving this way, how can we expect a teacher to want to go down that path? So I kind of use this saying, it's kind of like Henry Ford said, if I'd asked the people what they wanted when I built the automobile, they just said faster horses. And so it's our job as central office administrators to help teachers see what their next moves are. So that's why I think it has to be a combination of both.
And I agree. It has to be a combination, and we want teachers to tell us what they believe their own personal professional development needs are, but then there are some things that are district standards that we are subscribing to this. We believe this is in the best interest of students or for your own professional growth, so then we provide it from that aspect. But we're in a much better place than we were even 10 years ago, because we used to see frivolous conference requests coming, and you could just tell it was probably something that, I've got to earn some CPDUs, or that's St. Charles, Missouri sounds nice this time of year, and they were a little more frivolous, and we really weren't seeing the bang for the buck when they would come back in. They weren't sharing the information with colleagues, and we really weren't seeing what our return on the investment was, and the accountability piece was missing. And not accountability, did you attend and did you pay attention, but we're investing in you. We need you to come back and share that information with others. And so we don't see that anymore. Principals do an excellent job at the building level to identify what teacher needs are. They're in classrooms, they're observing teachers regularly, they're reflecting with teachers on their practice. And so they have a very keen awareness of what particular teachers' needs might be, and so when teachers submit requests, before they even make it to central office for us to approve conference requests or workshop requests, we know that's already been vetted at the school. And pretty easy for us to approve at that point.
I had a conference I wanted to go to last year, and I had to do a little write-up of what I wanted to go to it, what I was going to learn, how I was going to help other teachers learn about it. And I was like, okay, I can do that really quick. But once I wrote it up, I was like, you know what, this is really like helping me connect. I need to go in there and like really be thinking
Absolutely.
of not just me, but thinking of the people who like don't know how to use this, thinking of the people who've never heard of this. And so it really helped me prepare as someone going in to teach other people then.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And so I appreciated that after the fact.
After the fact.
After the fact. I was
First it's
like,
oh man, I have
I don't have time for this. But then I was like, okay, that's a good idea. As education continues to change, do you envision professional development still being as important as it is now?
I do, but I think professional development is going to continue to change.
Yeah.
Some of the things like we've talked about is doing more Skyping PD because time is one of our most valuable resources and
Yeah.
we just don't have enough of it. And being a large school district, we're also large in area.
Yeah.
So it's hard, we're spending time commuting from one place to another. So if we could do more Skyping type of PD or develop a PD bank where it's like, okay, I want to know about this
That'd be
this
cool.
instructional strategy, and you just go to the bank and you pull it up, and you can do it in PLC meetings and talk about how to incorporate it into your teaching.
That'd be cool.
And yeah, I would agree completely. And it's becoming, if not as important, even more important. And we're trying to figure out new ways and new methods of going about professional development. Over the past 2 years, we've went to an early dismissal schedule, as you're aware of, where on a given Friday each month, we dismiss students early so that we have time to deliver in-district professional development or give PLCs time to meet. And I think that's a key piece too, is that PLCs are an important part of professional development too, and an important time for colleagues to collaborate and share ideas and to build common assessments and to review student data, and all those things are an important piece. So I don't think you can discount the impact of PLCs here and how important that is to our professional development. And moving forward, PLCs will become even more critical.
Yeah, a few of the people who don't participate in PLCs who I've met through Mizzou have just said, you know, oh, how I wish we had that time and that community and that collaboration. And all the research I've done, like collaboration is one of the biggest things you can do to help yourself learn. But also, in every article I read of the problems with PD, time was one of the biggest things. Teachers feeling like, I don't have time. And so that's kind of where my motivation for the website I created came up. I could think, you know, my person may not have time during their prep period to watch this video, but if they have 3 minutes at home to watch it really quick because it's on YouTube, they can do that and then we can discuss it the next day.
Right.
And so that's where I thought, and it's been good for my people I've been working with because they have been able to go home and watch those on their own time or watch them when they can, and it's just been something where they've been more bought in because of that. And so I've appreciated that from them and them participating. But also, it's kind of, in all the research I've read, it's kind of been like, okay, this is kind of making sense to where the time issue is for them.
Yeah.
And so I like that. What is your vision for professional development in the Alton School District for the next 5 years?
And I think that's, you know, we've been thinking about that. Again, I think technology is going to play a huge part on that. Like I said, we're looking at doing Google Hangouts, so for the PD, that we're connecting to the teachers we want to connect with without having to do that travel time, so we can spend more time and answer more questions. Talked a little bit about flipped PD, where they come in with all the background knowledge, so we're not spending time trying to get that over to them.
Yeah.
So they'll come in with their questions and we can hit the ground running. The bank of PD. But I think what Christy said is the most important thing, is the use of PLCs and data. So one of the things that we're really looking at is giving PLC teams data about student engagement, student instruction, and the teachers developing and reflecting on their instruction and developing their PD that way.
Yeah.
And any 5-year plan that we would have, you know, based on the question, any 5-year plan, you know, it has to be informed by our own data and our own needs assessment, and what are those overarching continual needs in our district, and they continue to be the same things that we're still chewing away at, and that's achievement gap. It's you know, helping teachers better use formative assessments to guide and tweak instruction. It's better customizing interventions to meet students' needs even at a more individualized level. And I could go on and on about what those needs are, but we need to continue to assess needs of staff, needs of students, and then base all of our professional development planning and implementation based on those needs.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Yeah.